Good afternoon and welcome to this webinar organized by School Education Gateway. My name is Marta and I'm pleased to host this event today with my colleague Assi in the background. Just a practical information for the audience, the webinar is recorded and the recording might be used for dissemination purposes. And if you have questions, please post them in the chat and we will have a Q&A session in the end. Today's focus is school education for traveler communities regulated across Europe. These are just some of the questions that we will address today with our three guest speakers that I'm very happy to introduce. Nina Crommelin is board member of the European Network of Traveller Education and Vice President General and Education Advisor for the European Showmen's Union. Gerda Beuckens is a primary school teacher since 2011 and she's also a student consultant. She guides children until they reach a basic qualification and they are well prepared for the rest of their working life. And last but not least, Sabine Goetze has many years of experience in blended learning and is currently intensively involved in teaching graduate students online. In 2007, she joined the Schule for Circuskinder, where she was introduced to diverse learning methods catering to the needs of traveling children. But without further delay, I would like to give the floor to Nina. So please, Nina, you can start your presentation.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, my name is Nina Crommelin, and I am pleased that you have decided to join our webinar today. I will first present an overview on the educational situation of children of occupational travelers in Europe, and also I will introduce the work of ENTE, the European Network for Traveller Education. Afterwards, my colleagues will present two best practice examples. ENTE was established in 2012 with the intention to improve the education of children of occupational travelers. ENTE has got a diverse mix of members. Important European and national associations of the Showmen and Circus communities, as the ECA, European Circus Association, and the ESU, the European Showmen Union, are members of ENTE. As well as from Germany, the Showmen Associations, DSB, Deutscher Schaustellerbund, and BSM, Bundesverband Deutscher Schausteller und Marktkaufleute. Several educational institutions are of course also members of ENTE. The Hungarian Circus School Barış Imre, and from Germany we have the School for Performing Arts Die Etage, the Training Institute Das Europäische Bildungswerk, and die Schule für Circuskinder. From the Netherlands, the Rijdende School, and from Austria, the Foundation Zukunftswerk Bildung. The Forum, the International and Ecumenical Association for the Pastoral Care of Circus and Carnival Workers, represents the Christian churches. The Catholic Church of Germany, the Netherlands and Switzerland, with the Philip Neri Foundation, is represented, and as well the Protestant Church of Germany. Associations which promote the education of our target group are members of ENTE as well, Beret and Schule and Circus. Last but not least, there are two social scientists members of ENTE. Heinz Kinosko with his Institute for Individual Learning Support and School Management, who is also a lecturer at the University of Essen, and Professor Dr. Christian Gläser, who lectures at the University of Education in Karlsruhe. Please visit our website for more information about our members. Who belongs to the group of occupational travelers? First of all, the large groups of showmen, circus artists and workers and inland navigators. But ENTE also campaigns for the interests of other groups, such as street performers, market traders, knife grinders, stunt show performers, or even opera singers. Unfortunately, the data on the number of children is insufficient. This is also confirmed in the study The Situation of Circus in the EU Member States, published in 2019 on behalf of the European Commission. It is estimated that we are talking about at least 17,500 school-age showmen's children and at least 3,000 circus children. Add to this the children of the inland navigator families and the other groups. The basis of our work is Article 28 of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, which I am sure you all know. The children of occupational travelers have a right to good education that is tailored to their situation and enables them to achieve high-level qualifications. The EU recognized this already in the last century and laid it down in this resolution on school provision for children of occupational travelers in 1989. This resolution is now almost 32 years old to the day. In some countries, much has been done since then, in others not so much, and in some were support measures even reversed. In any case, it makes sense to renew this resolution and to add the area of blended and hybrid learning. In 2018, the educational interests of children of occupation travelers were included in the resolution of the European Parliament, Modernization of Education, paragraph 112. The special educational situation is stressed, but also the need of a new study to gather more data. Furthermore, the paragraphs 15 and 130 have indirect reference to this group of learners. They can benefit from the use of individual learning plans and the new possibilities of good online teaching, as mentioned in these paragraphs. Next, I would like to outline the very different educational options for children of occupational travelers offered by the different European countries. As you certainly know, each country is responsible for its own policies in the field of education. The EU can only provide guidelines and recommendations. You will understand that it's not possible within the framework of this webinar to discuss each country individually. I will present the various options in a bundle. It must also be said that there are still countries that do not address the educational situation of these children at all, or that cannot provide any information on this. I would like to point out that ENTE tries to be up to date with the developments in the different countries, but of course we cannot guarantee completeness. We are always grateful for extra information on all countries. Please do not hesitate to contact us. Homeschooling is allowed in many countries. This means that children are allowed to travel with their parents. The disadvantage of this solution is that the parents take on the role of teachers and thus perform tasks that actually fall to the state. In many countries, children have to pass an examination at the end of the school year. If they fail, they are no longer allowed to travel. This is a heavy burden for the families. Some countries have built up expertise in distance education or blended learning even before the COVID-19 crisis. Later, my colleagues will tell you more about distance education at the Rijdende School and the Schule für Circuskinder. In the Netherlands, distance learning is offered to the 4 to 7-year-old children of inland navigators as well. They get a learning package on board on which they work on together with the parents combined with daily supervision of the school, LOVK. Via the link in the chat, you can find a film about this kind of education and information about distance education in other countries. There are also countries where children have to attend a different school every week. You can imagine that many children experience a lot of stress from this. Meeting a new class and teachers every week and fitting into a new group so often. It also takes special professionalism to ensure that the children make educational progress under these conditions. In Germany, there are area teachers in the 16 federal states who support the children when they change schools. Together with the parents, they coordinate the visits at the different schools. In many federal states, those area teachers also have the time to provide learning support to the children. To support children, schools and area teachers, a digital project named DIGLO just started. Information about the individual student and his or her educational progress can be shared online. More information about this project can be found via the link in the chat. In a few countries, the Showmen and Circus children are taught in state-funded mobile schools during the traveling season. My colleagues will tell more about this later. In the chat, you will find more links about education in mobile schools in different countries. Many children of inland navigators and also some children of showmen attend boarding schools. In some countries, parents are supported financially, but unfortunately, this is not always the case. Another disadvantage is, of course, a separation from the family at a young age. When students travel abroad, the situation is even more challenging. They cannot simply attend classes in the new country because they often do not speak the language. And very often, the host country, where they travel for a season, does not feel responsible for these children either, due to the fact that they are not registered as inhabitants in this country. A lot of countries adopt the rule that children from other countries are not subject to compulsory education until they stay longer than 3 months in the country. The children are also often not supported by the schools of their country of origin. After all, they left the country for several months. Personally, I have seen children falling between the cracks. In the end, they did not attend any school because nobody felt responsible for them. A solution on a European level must be found. Altogether, we must feel responsible for those students. And even if there is support from the school of the home country, it is not possible to take exams in the new country. The students have to travel back for that. That is very expensive and often not possible during the traveling season. Digital developments could bring new impulses and solutions. As far as ENTE knows, only Germany provides special training opportunities for the children of showmen. Vocational training courses that fit the work field of a showman are offered at various locations. At the locations in Herne and Neumünster, the students follow classes in the winter, like welding or accounting. In the summer, there's an online program so that they can combine working on the fairground and studying. In Nidda, they complete a vocational training to become, for example, a retail salesperson. By following the Beuckens courses, the compulsory vocational schooling is fulfilled. The EVG offers, next to artistic classes, pedagogical training for the staff of family circuses who train school children in circus arts in one-week projects at regular schools. After the training, the circus gets a certificate confirming the qualification as trainers. Different circus schools who offer training in various artistic disciplines are members of FEDEC, the European Federation of Professional Circus Schools. You can find more information about FEDEC via the link in the chat. Whatever the educational situation in the different countries is, for ENTE it is important that children of occupational travelers experience educational justice. Primary and secondary education has to be accessible, and that means more than visiting a different school each week. The school system must guarantee the continuity in the education process. That means that schools must monitor the students' progress, achievement and learning gains, even if the student travels for several months far away from the home school. In order to improve the educational situation, ENTE is in contact with the ministries of the different countries and the EU. We were very pleased that we were able to discuss this topic with the European Commissioner Maria Gabriel last November, and that she promised us her support. What else do we do? ENTE offers a counseling service for parents and teachers and works together with institutions and schools in the different countries. Participating in European projects is also important for ENTE. What are our next steps? We will, of course, continue the dialogue with the different countries. And we will promote the use of blended learning. Due to the terrible COVID-19 crisis, many countries learned about the benefits of blended learning and online learning systems. And we hope that they start to use it for the education of the children who travel with their parents. And how fantastic would it be to have a European digital learning platform? Of course, offered in all European languages, where students and teachers from different countries come together and learn together. Of course, we will promote the renewal of the resolution of 1989. It is important to include the use of new technologies and to ask countries to take their responsibility. We will support countries to improve the preschool education, the support of the children with special educational needs, and vocational training programs. And last but not least, ENTE wants to expand its service point network. On this map, you can see our stars, the service points. Of course, we would like to have a so-called service point in each country. This is a person, institution that knows a lot about the educational situation in his or her own country, in general and for the children of occupational travelers. The service point provides information to parents and teachers or interested institutions. So, if you now think that you are the right person or you work for the right institution, please contact us and become our new star. Thank you very much for listening, also on behalf of the board of ENTE. Please visit our website and do not hesitate to contact us.
Thank you very much, Nina, for the presentation. As you just said, you will also find all the links in the chat, and the link will be also posted on the page of the event, so you will be able to visit everything later. And we had a couple of questions actually, but we will address them at the end if it's okay for you. And without further delay, now I will pass the floor to Gerda. Thank you very much for being here with us today. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Marta. I'm a primary school teacher working for the Rijdende School. And if I should translate Rijdende School, it would be riding school or mobile school. And I prefer the last translation. We are a very mobile organization which organizes primary education all over the Netherlands. And wherever a fair or circus is, we go there with our mobile schools or provide the children with online learning. Dutch children who are going abroad will receive everything they need for online learning. And not only do we provide education to Dutch students, but also to students from abroad who travel in the Netherlands. And these are mostly children from circus artists and workers. Last year we celebrated our 65th anniversary. In 1955, the first mobile school started to travel through the Netherlands. The idea for such a school came earlier. The Rijdende School was founded in Groningen, in the north of the Netherlands. The Showmen were looking for a solution for education in the summer season because their children were not welcome at the boarding houses for children of inland navigators, so they needed a different solution. And the foundation was established on October 28, 1952. It took another 3 years, so in 1955, before the first mobile school was a fact and could start driving and teaching children. It started as an experiment with financial support from the government. After a while, education for the occupational traveler population was included in the law. And this means that the education of the Rijdende School is legally established and funded by the government, just like other primary schools. The first mobile school was staffed by a couple and they only served the big fairs. In the next 5 years, 2 more mobile schools were built and started driving through the country. Back then it was always a couple who manned the school and they drove the school themselves to the different locations. In the beginning, a uniform teaching package was used, which was taken over from the children of inland navigators. And in the 1970s, a switch was made to individual teaching packages that matched the regular homeschool. And at first, the Rijdende School was only meant for children of showmen. In 1980, children of circus artists and workers were added. When the first mobile school was in business, the school was honored with a royal visitor. Our Queen Juliana paid a visit to the school in Amersfoort. And a lot has changed over time. The Rijdende School has grown a lot. Nowadays, we provide education for 182 primary school students. And it's good to know that primary education in the Netherlands starts at the age of 4. In addition to primary school students, we are a consultant for 17 preschoolers and 123 secondary school students. And what that consultancy entails, I'll come back to that later. Right now, a rolling stock contains 10 large schools that must be installed by a driver and 11 smaller schools that can be driven by teachers themselves. Our current team consists of 43 employees, mostly teachers. But the teachers are supported by the technical staff and drivers, the office staff and teaching assistants. And the team is managed by a director with the help of the planner and coordinators. Our office is located in Geldermalsen since 1980. We can divide our education into 3 types. We have large schools. These fit groups up to 10 students. A school day in a large school is comparable to a regular school day. There are lessons in the morning and the afternoon. A difference is that the school is filled by students from all ages from 4 to 12 years old. Mostly there's one teacher in this school, but sometimes we split the group, divide the school in 2 by a partition, and the second teacher is added. Then there are smaller schools and individual teaching. Smaller schools fit groups up to 5 students. Because of the small groups of students and the intensity of the lesson, the teacher can drive to another fair or circus on the same day. A school day in a smaller school or individual teaching is therefore a morning or an afternoon. And then there's online learning. Children who mainly go to fairs or circuses where there are no other children and children who travel abroad receive a laptop and accessories from the Rijdende School. They participate in online learning. They need to be online between 9 a.m. till 12:30 to receive instructions and to carry out collaborative assignments. After logging out, they can continue with independent assignments and homework. I'm going to try to give an impression of what a normal school day in a large school looks like. The school is on the same side as the caravan, so most children are at school within 1 minute. When everyone's inside, I start with a circle discussion and then discuss the planning of the day and expectations of the children. The last part is very important because there are students of different ages and with all different teaching methods together in the school. Everyone needs attention and instruction from the teacher, and that can be all given at the same time. In the morning, I try to complete all basic subjects such as reading, writing and math with students of primary 1 and higher, and to give the 4 and 5-year-olds time and space for play and development. In the afternoon, I take care of collaborative assignments for subjects as history, technology, geography, physical education, and arts and crafts. School is out at 3 p.m. and the children are going home, and I'm going to review work, update logs, and plan for the next day. You can see blended learning at the Rijdende School as a triangle. There are 3 factors of great importance in providing education to the child. At first, there's the regular primary school at home. That's where the child goes when it's not traveling. We call them winter school because it's the school where most of our children go in winter because most fairs are in the summer season. This school provides the child with learning material and methods. The Rijdende School is in line with the winter school's education. We try to continue the ongoing development through good cooperation through a consultant. Then there's education in a mobile school during the traveling season. I just gave you an idea of how that education looks like. And last, there's online learning, which is mainly used when the child is at a fair or circus without other children or abroad. But it's always a combination of these 3 factors. There's always a period when the children are at home and go to the winter school. Children who do not need online learning because they're always on big fairs with other children and because they stay in the Netherlands will receive a sort of online learning as well. Sometimes they participate in online learning for a specific lesson from another teacher or for a collaborative assignment. Children who attend a lot of online learning will also alternately see a real teacher. Abroad, this can be a higher teacher from that country, and in the Netherlands, this can be a teacher with a small school or a teacher who comes to teach at home in a caravan. Here are some facts and figures about our students. There are 182 primary school students. 12.5% are children of circus artists and workers. The majority, 87.5%, are children of showmen. Is everything working all right? Because my laptop makes funny sound.
We can see the presentation. Yeah.
Okay, then I continue.
Yeah.
The majority, 87.5%, are children of showmen. Only 34% of our students is involved in online learning. By this group, we only mean the children who are registered for online learning and who have received a laptop from the Rijdende School. All of our students participate in some sort of online learning during a traveling season. This can therefore also be organized from a mobile school. Distance and online learning is very common these days. This had been the case for years in the Rijdende School, and I'm going to give you a brief outline of the history of our distance and digital learning. In 1993, the first laptops were used in the mobile schools. In 1996, the Rijdende School started with a project e-missie, where students previously had to send their homework by mail, which sometimes got lost. They now received a computer to send their homework digitally. Teachers, students, and parents were trained to operate the computers and could now more quickly and easily send their work to the teacher for review. They should have a response from the teacher within 24 hours of sending. Anyone who had not turned in homework after a week was called by the teacher. The Rijdende School has won a prize for this innovative project, and the money won has been reinvested in further digitization. In 2000, the Rijdende School, in collaboration with the School for Children of Inland Navigators, started working on the Trapeze project. This project consisted of satellite connections that could be used to establish a connection between the traveling student and the teacher. And the official start of DLRS, which means Digital Learning Environment Rijdende School, was in 2003, where students and teachers could establish a wireless connection via laptops. Training was provided for the teachers as well as for the participating students and their parents. This is already starting to look pretty similar to the system we are using today. Laptops with a wireless internet connection so that student and teacher can reach each other. And since then, we've gone through all kinds of developments in the way of teaching. From 2005, SRS Info was our own online platform containing subject matter, a student tracking system and planning programs. And the online instruction where student and teacher can actually see each other has taken all kinds of forms over the years, just like being able to digitally read out the schedule for the teacher and the student. And that brings us to the current situation. Students who participate in online learning will be provided with a laptop, mouse, headset, and internet stick. Early learners, the 4 and 5-year-olds, will also receive a box with materials specialized for them. The other students get a box with material for science, history, geography, and arts and crafts. In Navigeren, our own online platform today, the students and their parents can find the schedule of that day. The young children have a group lesson with a teacher twice a morning. The rest of the time, activities are completely written, ready for parents to carry out with their child. They receive all the necessary materials for this in a box. And we ask the parents to take pictures and videos of the activities and send them to the teacher, so that we can continue to closely monitor the process and development of the child, even when they work without a teacher. The other students must be online between 9 and 12:30. Where they receive all necessary instructions for individual lessons and joint group lessons. After 12:30, they can continue with independent assignments and homework. And the work made must be sent to the teacher by means of photos so that he or she can check it. Our teachers can work from home or from the office in Geldermalsen, where a room has been specially set up for online learning. These days we work with Microsoft Teams for our instructions and collaboration assignments. And Navigeren is our planning system, which I'll tell you more about in a minute. Navigeren also contains student data, logs, method materials, and teacher planning by location. And in addition to these two major communication systems, we use numerous programs for support and practice. You're now looking at a student page of Navigeren. On this page, a student can see what the teacher has planned for her today. Zelfstandig werken means subjects and assignments that she can do independently. Instructiemomenten means where the teacher must give instruction. The instruction moments are planned in consultation. Per lesson, a student can see what material is needed and whether extra instruction has been typed or an instructional video or audio clip has been added. After finishing a lesson, a student should give a comment. Our system asks whether the lesson goal has been achieved, how the student feels about this lesson, and whether the lesson is finished or not. And the last question is what the student has learned. The teacher also grades the lesson and indicates what went well and what could be improved. The student can read this comment in her planning program afterwards. You can see this in the last column called beoordelingen. We do this because we want to make the student more self-aware and we want her to look more critically at her own work. Here you see the teacher side of Navigeren. We can plan lessons for all teaching methods and grades per subject. We can supplement this with our own instructions, videos, and audio fragments. Per lesson, you can indicate whether it includes instruction or whether the lesson can be made independently, what the purpose of the lesson is, how long the lesson lasts, and whether it's a lesson that requires collaboration. My last part is about the consultant. Each teacher is also a consultant for a number of students. This means that this teacher is the contact person for the student and his parents. Being a consultant starts with the birth or registration of the student if he's only 2 or 3 years old. Together with the parents, it's examined whether the child can go to a preschool. From the age of 4, the consultancy becomes more intensive. At least twice a year, the consultant makes a home visit and the consultant has an interview with the winter school for a good handover within their education and the Rijdende School. All important information is published digitally by the consultant for the other teachers. While traveling, the consultant keeps an eye on the progress of his students and makes adjustments if necessary. After 6th grade, at the age of 12, the student leaves primary education and with it the Rijdende School. However, the consultant continues to monitor the student until he or she has a basic qualification, a diploma. This was a short impression of the Rijdende School and what we do.
Thank you very much, Gerda, for the good practices and the examples from the field, I would say. Thank you very much. As for Nina, we will address the questions at the end. But now, before Sabine, Sabine, I give you the floor.
Thank you.
But I know that we have prepared a video before you start the presentation.
Yes, right. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Before I start with my presentation, we thought you might want a short break from the presentations, and we have a short video on how our online learning program is organized at the Schule for Circuskinder, and Nina will show that to you. Thank you, Nina.
Also am Online-Unterricht kann teilnehmen jeder, der schreiben und lesen kann. Also man muss sich auch einloggen, dafür muss man auch gerade schreiben können.
Also der Online-Unterricht ist eine super Ergänzung zum Unterricht vor Ort, weil die Kinder eben zusätzlich noch unterrichtet werden. Der Lehrer kommt nur 2-3 Mal die Woche und so ist natürlich die Versorgung eine viel, viel bessere.
Angeli is a student at the School for Circus Kids.
2 bis 3 Mal in der Woche kommen unsere Lehrer Claudis und Fritzi, da haben wir Unterricht vor Ort.
On the other days, she attends school via the virtual learning environment. At home, several hundreds of kilometers away, an hour before class is set to begin, Ollie signs in. He does this in order to support his students in case of any technical problems. So far, there have been no issues. Class can begin.
So, guten Morgen, ihr Lieben. Jetzt können wir starten. Genau, könnt ihr mich schon alle hören? Gebt mir mal bitte ein grünes Häkchen. Sehr gut, genau. Wunderbar. So, ich würde heute ganz gerne mit den Hausaufgaben beginnen. Und zwar habt ihr diese Form. Erinnert ihr euch? Wer kann mir denn vielleicht sagen, aus welchen Formen diese zusammengesetzte Fläche besteht? Josephine, bitteschön.
Ein Kreis, ein Dreieck und ein Rechteck.
Sehr gut, genau.
In the virtual classroom, you can make additional rooms where students can work collaboratively with a partner or even larger groups.
Ich finde auch gut, dass man dann auch die Schultage, also an denen man keine Schule hat, dann auch überbrücken kann und dann trotzdem genug lernt. Also Online-Kurs ist eine gute Sache.
Since 1994, 350 students have graduated from the School for Circus Kids. In 2019, 240 children of travelling families attended the SFC, School for Circus Kids. This is a record number in over 250 years of circus history. This innovative virtual learning environment is a vital part of the education offered to the children attending the SFC. The virtual learning environment plays a vital role in ensuring consistent and equal learning opportunities for all students, wherever they may be. Educational justice and equality of opportunities for children of travelling families. The SFC School for Circus Kids in North Rhine-Westphalia.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nina. Okay, then let me tell you a little more about our school, the School for Circus Kids. There you go. Yes, this is our blended learning environment at the Schule für Circuskinder, something you might be familiar with. It's a blend of in-classroom learning, distance learning, and online learning. As a matter of fact, the Schule für Circuskinder and the school in the Netherlands work similarly until 6th grade. But after 6th grade, or in general, there are some aspects that are specific to our school. First of all, we are a base school. That is, the students that learn with us, they are our students. They stay with us until they have their school leaving certificates from grades in grades 9 or 10. And the certificates they can pass at our school are the Hauptschulabschluss. If you are familiar with the certificates you have in Britain, it's approximately the CSE, but of course it's always difficult to compare. And we also have the Mittlerer Abschluss. It's approximately the GCSE. And those students that have passed the Mittlerer Abschluss, they have the option to continue with a course of advanced higher education, a course that is specifically designed for children from traveling families, and that we have here in North Rhine-Westphalia. I think it's a rather unique course, and at the end of that course, the students can reach the university entrance certificate, and we've had students that have gone on to university. Also, we have a very extensive online learning program. We highly value our online learning program. It supplements perfectly the in-classroom teaching and the distance learning teaching. The online learning program is differentiated in 2 parts. There are subject classes for different topics, and there's also the very important mentoring and support department. The subject classes for different topics are done by subject teachers. The mentoring and support is done either by mentors or also by subject teachers. Now here you have a very normal weekly online schedule. You can see here the different subjects. It's of course the main subjects, English, German and mathematics. And we also do special preparation classes for the final exams. And as a matter of fact, right now, this week, we are right in the midst of the final exams for English, German and mathematics. But there are also different subject classes for either natural sciences, for example, technology, for a special topic within the mathematics. As a matter of fact, there are no limits to what we can do in our online learning department. And what is called here Betreuung, that is the mentoring and support. Mentoring and support goes from Monday through Friday, so there is the students can log on to the mentoring and support program every day of the week. Now, how is mentoring and support organized? The students work independently with their learning material, and they only ask the mentor for help when help is needed. But when help is needed, there is a mentor at every moment. This is a spreadsheet, an individual spreadsheet for every student. The student work, they tick off what they have terminated, and at the end of that mentoring time there is what we call here gemeinsame Aktion. There's some joint action. So after having worked for such a long time independently, there is something the students do together with their mentors and teachers. Now, how are we organized? Mentoring is daily from 8 to 12 a.m. Subject classes are from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. with 1 or 2 hours per class. And in those subject classes, we try to have not more than 15 students max. In the subject classes, more than 15 students max, that gets confusing. It does. In the mentoring classes, of course, there can be more than 15 students. Sometimes there are up to 20, 25 students that are locked on at the same time, but of course they don't need help all at the same time. We need software, of course, for what we do. We have a messenger. It's called School Cloud Pro. This is where we communicate, students with teachers, us teachers between each other, students to teachers. It's just like a normal messenger. Then we have a learning platform. It's called Edu. There we upload the homework for the subject classes. There we communicate with students. We can communicate with individual students on the learning platform Edu, or we can communicate with the whole group at the same time. We have a virtual classroom, which is based on the software Saba Centra 1. And we use TeamViewer in case of problems, when either the students or we teachers need support, technical support. How does the interaction work in our virtual classroom? We communicate, of course. We have icons for the communication. We have icons for participation, raising your hand, saying yes or no, applauding, and also sometimes it's funny for laughing. And for writing, we have a very extensive toolbar. You can write, that is, the students write on the whiteboard. We teachers see it in real time. We can respond, we can correct. There are also possibilities to highlight things, put little stars, erase stuff, lots of different functions and possibilities. We can save what's on the whiteboard, can be saved for further use later on. And of course, we communicate also orally here. I mean, really, otherwise it would be front of class teaching. No, everybody has a headset, has microphones, and we can communicate in many, many different ways. The whiteboard is our blackboard. In the virtual classroom, the information is presented through PowerPoint presentations, but we can also use PDF format. And we have the possibility to generate different classroom formats, because we have separate study rooms where we can put our students. So we have individual, partner and group work, just like in any other classroom where we would be together in person. We have standardized the homework formats for our subject classes, so each one of us teachers uses the same format for the homework. Now, what do we believe does the online learning promote in our students? First of all, of course, the willingness to use hard and software. I mean, we are right in the midst of a pandemic, and now I guess everybody has understood how important that is in our world. We communicate, or they communicate and learn with partners. Those partners are teachers, are mentors, but of course are also other students. Yeah, I mean, you all know, you might know that sometimes such a young person is the only younger person on a circus site. Maybe there are otherwise only adults there. And so they can get into contact, stay in contact, communicate between each other through our software possibilities. And also our students have to conduct their individual learning process in a very responsible, self-organized and reliable way. And here on my last slide, I would like to show you once again how the online learning program supports everything else we do at the Schule für Circuskinder. So it's all those little bits and pieces that come together to create a big puzzle to support our students in their learning career and prepare them for a very successful life after school. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Sabine. Last but not least, as I said before, yes, it was really interesting. And now maybe we can have 10 minutes for the questions, if you agree. Yes. We have prepared also a nice slide here with the question and answers. So we had actually two questions at the beginning. Nina, that was during your presentation, but feel free, I mean, I think all of you can reply to those questions, so feel free to take the floor as you prefer. And the first question was, children are forced to move from a school to another. How does this affect their emotional learning and their stability? And I will pose also the second question: how can vocational schools get involved in this?
Yes, I would like to answer the first question. I'm also a teacher for many years now and have lots of contacts with parents and children. And of course, they tell me their stories and they say it's actually very stressful, because usually they have to tell about their circus. Maybe they even have to do some acts or to make a drawing from their fairground. And it takes 2 days or more to adjust to the whole situation, and then they have to leave again. And especially in countries where you have, like in Germany, where you have 16 federal states, it's not possible for the teachers to have all the materials, to have all the curricula. So it's very difficult to change those schools every week. And that's why they have in Germany the area teachers actually to support it. And of course, it's a great chance to have the digital systems now, so that the homeschool can follow those children more easy. Because otherwise they, like the parents' generation, they didn't learn reading and writing at all, because they only went there and sat there and then left for the next school. Yes.
Yeah, and about the vocational school, actually, yes. I don't know if you have experience on that, and if the teachers are interested, maybe.
Yes, they can definitely contact me, because I have contact to the school in Herne, where I talked about Beuckens, and I know that they're always interested in projects and cooperation with other countries. So if they mail me, I can make the contacts, and that's not a problem.
Okay, that sounds good.
Shall I write my email address in the chat, or?
If you wish, you can absolutely write it in the chat. Okay. Yeah, you can make the announcement in the published
Q&A,
public Q&A.
Yes.
So they have it there. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much, Nina, for replying to those questions. And we had another question. This one was for Gerda during her presentation, and there was a comment actually saying that the school sounds very well designed and over many years, but if there is something that you still you would like to improve, if you could.
Well, first of all, we would really like to see our children in real life again, and that the circuses and the fairs can start again, because we haven't seen them in a long time because of COVID. So that would be a first. But when we're up and running again, well, that's hard to say. I think we're very well designed. Probably it would be something like the children who are participating in online learning a lot. I would bring them together more often, because sometimes they only see a real teacher in a long time, and only a teacher, not real children. So if we could figure out how to manage that, that would be a great improvement. If we can gather all those children around, so they can be with their classmates and their other children from the Rijdende School.
Yeah, we definitely see your point. Indeed, it would be great. And actually, Sabine, I think this is a question also for you. So yeah. If you would like to improve something, I mean, you do already a great job, but maybe there is something that you would like to improve on you. I mean, that can be improved in general.
Well, what we would like to change, let's say, that's more on a state, on a general state level, because, you know, the Schule für Circuskinder operates solely in North Rhine-Westphalia. Germany is a federal state. We have the different lands, 16 of them within Germany, and we are, as the Schule für Circuskinder, limited to North Rhine-Westphalia, which is a big one within this community of 16 different smaller states, federal states in Germany. But it has been our goal for a very long time already to create a school for traveling children that can operate in the whole of Germany. There are the area teachers, like Nina explained. They support children in other states out of North Rhine-Westphalia, and we also work very closely with them. But it would be wonderful to have one organization for the whole country in the future. And hopefully we get there one day.
Yeah, absolutely. There was also a nice comment in the chat saying the idea of creating a collaborative common European platform for travel education is really great. This is the spirit. So I think it's really important, the spirit as a starting point. And then in the future, definitely everything can be improved. So thank you very much. We don't have more questions, I think. Please interrupt me if you saw all other questions in the chat, but I think we had a couple of more comments and a lot of positive comments actually. So I think the topic was really interesting, and also a bit, I think it was something new for our audience. So it was really, really inspiring. Before we leave and before we close, I need to give an information to the audience to complete the feedback form, because we would like to know from you what you think about this seminar. Assi just posted the link in the chat. Please remember to save it before we close the event, so you will be able to complete it after. And last but not least, the certificates are not issued for this seminar, so you won't receive a certificate for this event. But other than that, we stop with the practical information, and I would like to leave the last couple of minutes to you. I don't know, Nina, Gerda, or Sabine. If you want to add something, please feel free to do it.
Yes, actually, I really want to stress the situation of children who travel in different countries, because I think in these modern times in Europe, it cannot be that there are still children who don't get any education at all, and they knock on doors of ministries, and they're left alone. And really, I think everybody has to help to stop this. It's actually a shame for Europe that this can happen. Yes.
Yeah, indeed. I totally agree what you just said. And Gerda, Sabine, I don't want to force you. I mean, if you don't want to say,
Okay.
if you're okay with it, but I wanted just to leave you the last words.
Okay, no, I didn't. I think there are always possibilities to alleviate the situation of children from traveling families, just as Nina said. And this is really a very important task from each and every government, and which should be taken on with great seriousness, and to support these children who are working in a wonderfully, very disciplined way, who are reliable and just great kids. And that really should be the goal of each and every responsible person in our political system, to support this further and to do for these children whatever we can.
And thank you actually for playing a key role in this. Yeah, I think it's very, very important.
Thank you.
And I can only agree with Sabina and Nina. And we gave some good practice. So, well, let's hope Europe will follow.
Oh yeah, and maybe a last word. So, because I started, I want to say again, if you have more information about your own country, or if you want to join ENTE, or if you think, okay, maybe I can be the service point, please contact us, because we need people in all the European countries.
Great. So once again, thank you very much for all your presentations, for the video you shared, and all the links in the chat. A lot of food for thought as well. And please, let's stay in touch. As you said, we will share the presentation, the recording, so for all the participants, you will be able also to have those materials. And I wish you all a good evening and stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.
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 Bye.